Welcome to the Real Man Talk Show, where we provide coaching, dialogue about various problems that men face today. And I know it's kind of unorthodox for us to go live on a Tuesday, but we're still going live tomorrow, 8 o'clock. But I thought it was very important to go live today. I'm working on this series because I'm tired of seeing some of the things I'm seeing in regards that man is going through. To y'all that's been following me on TikTok and on Instagram, I've been posting some things in regards to just watching some of the issues as men are dealing with. There's a lot of issues, man, and I'm getting very disgusted. But we're going to talk about that. But let me throw some announcements out there because we got some announcements I need to make known before we get into the show. We're now live on IG. So go to our IG channel at The Real Man Talk. Go to the IG channel and follow us and go and check out some of the content. We're now going live. Follow us, and I will give you the details when we're going live. This is something new that we just started doing because we usually go live on Facebook and YouTube, but now we're on Instagram where we will be providing more value. The channel's been up for a minute, but I decided after meeting up with the special guest that's coming on, Brother Dre, I decided I need to go more live on on Instagram. I also want you all to make sure you go to the YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, go to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe and get the notifications. Also, if you know any men that are dealing with custody issues, child support issues, men that's looking to possibly get their mindset together, to get their self together, or they just want to be around other men that's doing things in regards to just building lineage and heritage, tell them to go to the channel. I have a lot of good videos up. I have a lot of good things up there with other attorneys that's coming on there providing free consultations. I do understand sometimes it's a challenge for those who may be trying to seek representation. Go to the YouTube channel. We have a lot of that information that will save you a lot of time and save you a lot of money and stop reinventing the wheel, okay? That's one thing I want to do. I want to help provide more information and value to men because I realize a lot of men is trying to reinvent the wheel. And because of that, it's causing other issues. Also, I want to let you know, once again, the platform is designed for men. The platform is designed for men. However, I do welcome the ladies, and I'd like you to join us in on some of the conversations. Why? Because once again, you are the life form that brings life. You are the life form that brings life. The channel is designed for men, but once again, women, you have husbands, you have boyfriends, you have sons, you have uncles, brothers that probably need to be hearing some of this information that we're giving out on this channel. So share, like, but if you know, and I'm pretty sure you know a man or a son or someone in your family or someone outside the family that's needing some help, send them to the channel, man. That's what we're here for. I'm tired of seeing men trying to figure this thing out. It's a group of us, man, that's wanting to work together, and we want to just see men be the best that they can be. Got a little tongue tied there. Oh, we. And also, man, one thing about the show, I believe in getting insight from women. Anytime I'm working on a project, I definitely include my wife, and I always ask women because women have a different approach and a different insight that sometimes we don't see things. So I highly want to thank the women that do tune into it. Yes, I got that. So yes, this is the YouTube channel. So I want to bring that up. That's why you see that. That's thank you for that. But this YouTube channel, I need y'all to go to like and subscribe. And that's how you can get the latest notifications. Also, what other announcements we got? We talked about the IG. We also talked about the Facebook. Also want to let you know, man, my show is mainly for those who have a higher call and are unsure about what they're looking for in regards to life. What I do as a coach, I help people to find that purpose and find that gift. There's a lot of people that have plenty of gifts in them, and sometimes they don't understand that gift that they have that's right there. So I help people to find their purpose and their gift, and we turn it into a business model if they chose to. Sometimes people just want some things fixed within their life. Sometimes people just want things fixed, whether it's a relationship or whatever they're going through. That's what I do. I provide coaching for that. Also, service member. If you're a service member or veteran, man, that's probably getting out the military, probably already out, that's unsure about what you want to do, get with me. I've been down that road. I understand how you're feeling. You probably feel like you stuck into a world that you really don't want to be a part of in regards to just your occupation or your lifestyle. Get with me. I understand how you feel, because when I got out, I was a little unsure about what I want to do. And that takes a little bit of just learning yourself. But get with me, man. That's what the coaching comes in at. Someone that's seeking to probably clean up their credit. That's what we do. We help people clean up their credit. Or you probably just want to boost that credit score. Get with me. That's what we do. The Real Man Talk, we like to provide solutions. We just don't want to talk. We like to provide solutions. Also, as we prepare for the 2022 season, I know a lot of people about to get fit. They're getting in that gym, about to start knocking out that iron. They're about to lose them weight, whatever they're trying to do to get sexy for 2022. I want to tell you all, you may want to highly consider, and get my book. I just released my first ebook, which is all you want to know about CBD. Now, there's more to it than what you think. To those who don't know about CBD, CBD comes from the same plant as the cannabis plant, but it don't have the same effect as cannabis. Also, it helps people that's having problems with their joints, that's having problems with pain, and whether it's their muscles. You're trying to get back to a different lifestyle where you want to start being a little bit mobile. Definitely get the book, and also go to the website Houston CBD and get you some of that CBD cream for them joints and aches. And I think that's all the announcements we got tonight. Let's get into the goddamn show, because as you know, the show tonight, we're talking about how to deal with a bitter baby mama. How to deal with a bitter baby mama. Let me play this clip. Matter of fact, let me share this with you all. I'm going to share this inside the link, but I'm going to play the clip. And later on, if you want to, you can go to my TikTok and you can watch the video. But I'm going to show this video that has been getting a lot of attention. And it's the one that actually caused me to do the show tonight and bring up our special guest. Let me go to the video. Here we go. Go here. Okay. Tab. Give me 1 second. There we go. Let me get out of here so y'all can see this. We go back to StreamYard. Let me share my screen. Okay, which screen we going to share? Let's see if I can bring this over here and share this screen this way. Here we go. Now I'm going to play this video. This video I'm going to play. It's a video of a gentleman that's going to get his son. As he proceeds to get his son, he's pretty much is verbally assaulted by the baby's mother in regards to whatever they got going on. But the sad thing about it, this little boy is caught up in hearing his parents go back and forth. Let me play this for you all.
Daddy, look, little boy, pay attention, because I'm going to record so the whole world can know, and all your TikTok fans, whatever, bullshit, social media you be on. No, look, little boy, I'm going to tell you right now. No, you ain't shit. You ain't shit. You learn how to take care of your kids, and learn how to, no, with your little broke ass, stingy little ass, just because you got custody of your damn kids. Don't touch my door, bitch. Yeah, your daddy ain't shit. I'm gonna let the whole TikTok freaking know.
Wow. So this is what we're going to talk about tonight. How to deal with a bitter baby mama. But let me bring up my special guest that's coming on tonight, man. Pleasure meeting this guy and hoping to be working with him more and more. Has an amazing podcast show on Instagram called the Barbecue Talk Podcast. This young man is doing some amazing things, man. And I want to bring him up, none other than Mr. Dre from the Barbecue Talk Podcast. How you doing there, brother? See if I can unmute you.
Oh,
there we go.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
How you doing there, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing wonderful. I can't complain. How you doing?
Man, I'm great, man. Thank you for coming on the Real Man Talk Show, man. after watching that video, man, what are some of the thoughts that went through your head as you watched this man come to get his kid, and as he's getting his kid, he's getting verbally assaulted?
Uh,
What's your take on this video, man?
it's something that's a problem with the entire community, not just with just the woman, but in the same sense, I mean, uh, he's there to get his child. He obviously wants to be in his child's life. He wants the responsibility of a man. So why even have an issue with that? But it comes down to the language. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times in our community we've became so comfortable with using negative language and certain negative titles. Like I do not like the title baby mama or baby daddy. The reason why is because uh the negativity it holds. You know what I mean? If we look at each other as a mother of a child or a father of a child, and even one that lacks responsibility, then it's just more so in saying that's an immature father, that's an immature mother, and one that has to gain more responsibility and accountability. And we have to make sure that they're accountable. But it's disheartening that she would want to use social media to deface the child's father's character, because he doesn't seem like he's a bad person at all. Sometimes things end and it doesn't go the way that someone intends for it to go. And then the mom is all of a sudden now going to a whole nother level with it because she's upset because she's not getting what she wants. Or a lot of times they think that the system is supposed to go in their favor all the time because of them being a woman, and that's not the case. You know what I mean? Whoever is the better fit parent to be able to handle the child, and the way that she talks to his father, I'm gonna be very honest. Even if it was the other way around, I don't know how she would be talking to her child or children, because that's obviously the same way that she would, the same language and tones that she would use with them, which can lead to a lot of mental health issues. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, and you're right with three different things. I definitely agree with you on.
Sure.
But let me ask you this: do you have any kids?
No, I don't actually currently.
Have you seen or witnessed such thing that we just displayed on that was displayed on TikTok?
Oh, most definitely, yes, all
So
the time.
one of the things I agree with you on, as you stated, it's a problem in the community. It's a major problem with how we communicate. It's even more a problem when we communicate that way in front of our kids.
Sure.
As I was watching this video, man, I was just so torn, man, because I can feel the frustration and pain of the father, as well as I can feel just the hurt and the confusion as the kid.
Mm.
Like, what do I say? What do I do? My mom, who I love, my dad that I love, are going back and forth calling each other's names. And like, how do a kid even deal with those emotions when they're around their friends? So it's so many things when it comes to this. But as you stated, it's common and it shouldn't be common. That's why I asked if you knew someone, because I grew up watching things like this, and it seems like it's the norm, but it's not the fucking norm. It end up leading to mental health issues and other things that's not normal.
True. No, I 100% agree with you. Like it does lead to more toxicity, more negativity, and more hurt and pain, and psychological issues that it can happen. I myself have people in my family that have been around very negative, uh, vocally negative parents, and other family members that are very negative towards each other. And that plays a part. A lot of people don't think it plays a part. A lot of times they just think that, oh, well, you see me and your father in the same household. But then a lot of times my response is that, okay, they may have seen you all in the household together, but were you happy and were you healthy? Was the relationship healthy? Because it's not just about having two parents in the household. It's about having two healthy parents in the household. But also, even when things don't work out, it's about having a healthy co-parenting situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I agree. But where is the respect, man? Like,
True.
it got to be some type of boundary where you have to have at least some type of self-respect for yourself.
True. True.
You can disrespect him all you want, but where's the self-respect for yourself?
Mm,
And
true.
where's the respect for your kid? You can disrespect them, do that, do whatever you want to do, but where's the self-respect for yourself? And then where's the respect for your kid? It's like there's no respect whatsoever.
True. True. I see what you're going with that too. Yeah. A lot of women do need to have more respect for themselves, especially black women in America. And I say black women in America because I like to try to stick to the home base where the issue is. But a lot of times it's the music. It's the music and the culture itself that a lot of them find themselves in. I encourage a lot of women of color to back away from the reality shows and things of that nature because it's negative. It's negative media. And whatever you feed your brain, you know what I mean, by way of your eyes and the energies is going to eventually come out. You're going to express that. So, you know, when you're applauding people for handling things in an unclassy way, you know what I mean? It just continues. So I feel as if we need to bring back that pride that we all once had for ourselves and each other. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't want to, even though I'm mad and upset that the relationship didn't go the way it was intended that we planned for it to go. It's as me as a man, even as a woman, you shouldn't want to attack the next person's character. You should want to keep it like, hey, I'm not happy about it, but I'm not gonna lash out and verbally attack you and try to deface your character. Like she stated on the video, I'm gonna go to TikTok and let everybody know that you're. But I'm like, what did he do wrong? If he won custody of his kids, you know what I mean? What's
Well,
the issue?
and that goes back to a lot of times, a lot of things are said with emotions. She was
True,
very emotional because if she wasn't so emotional, she'll realize what she said didn't even make sense. Okay, like you said,
true,
the man got custody of his other kids. That says, like you said, he's not too bad of a parent. So is it an issue between you and him, or is the issue how he's treating his son? It
true.
becomes many more other issues that's not even about the kid. And
Mm,
I'm getting so frustrated and pissed off, man, because I know so many men that's in this situation right here. I know
true,
so many men that's fighting just to be a part of their kids' lives. But then you got the motherfucking deadbeats who gets away scot-free. They don't want to have nothing to do with him. He's not even
mm,
paying child support, ain't even trying to even be a part of the kid's life. But those who are trying to be a part of the kid's life get the most flack.
true, true, true. No,
Cat
I
Taylor,
agree.
welcome to the show. Cat, don't mean to cut you off. Cat Taylor, welcome to the show. And yes, thank you for your comment. The children are automatically scorned, and it becomes more of a whole nother issue later on in life with those kids.
True, 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 true. No, yeah, no, that's 100%. And I like what you said. You said that that you know that you see deadbeats. Like, and myself personally, I have I've witnessed the same thing. You know that you have the father that's the deadbeat father, but maybe because he may put a little money here and there, whatever the case may be, or whatever he's doing for the woman to please the woman, but he's not really doing much for the kid. You know what I mean? And there's nothing that gets said about that person. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I think in our community, so many women are growing up hearing that men aren't no good, you know, and if we use the real term, what we hear, these niggas ain't shit. These niggas ain't shit. You know what I mean? Men ain't shit. Men ain't no good. And it's like, when you hear those terms growing up for women, as soon as somebody do something to you now, a man that doesn't have to do with the good man that you're dealing with, now all of a sudden every man is no good. Now all of those things that you heard are stirring back up. Now it's like, oh, for real, for real. Okay, now I understand, right? You know what I mean? And then you start taking it on every man. It's just like it can happen the same way with a man towards a woman, but you have to be understanding everyone you deal with in every relationship, whether it's romantic or non-romantic. You have to give them a clean slate and allow them to build their own rap sheet, which it could be a positive rap sheet or a negative one. So I mean, if somebody's being a good father, or even if they're trying to do their best, you know what I mean? Because there's no handbook on being a parent. But at the same time, like there's a level of respect, and I like what Kat Taylor said, the respect is gone. And I'll speak for my generation, growing up, the respect, and as I see other generations, the respect is getting lower and lower. And it's becoming more acceptable to be disrespectful than to be respectful. And that's also, I feel, is because you have a lot of parents that are also too young having children, too
But
young getting.
yeah, that's another conversation. But you're right on that point. But I want to stay on the point that you was talking about with the respect, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine as a father how it feels to be called a punk and a bitch in front of your son?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
And some men go along with the get along just to do what it takes to see their kids. On the flip side, you got some of those, and I kind of used to fault them to a little bit, but now I understand. You got some of them that got tired of fighting, man. When I'm talking about fighting, you talking about they're fighting with the mother. They may be fighting with the relatives. Police
True.
may get involved. Now they're fighting with the police and the court system. Some of
True.
them get to the point, they just say, fuck it, man. I'd rather just pull myself back to keep my sanity and just not be a part of the kid's life until they get older, and then I can tell them what's going on.
True. 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 Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just that I feel like there's a lot less women that are being conditioned, even men that are being conditioned to have respect for all people. Even when you're having your differences. There was something that there was a couple that I was watching, and I follow them. They're two entrepreneurs, right? And when they met each other, they weren't like millionaires. Now they're millionaires. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they weren't. And the one thing that she stated was that you have to know how to argue in a positive manner. The language matters. Like if you use negative language, you're gonna give negative feelings, negative results. So you got to make sure that the language that you use. So you have to be able to as they stated, you have to be able to know how to argue in a way without being destructive towards each other, because there's a way to do that.
Well, that's a whole nother issue in our community because sometimes we don't even know how to communicate with each other, with each other, let alone trying to do conflict resolution. So it's a big issue with just communicating. Brother Dre, you'd like to take this?
Oh yeah. So Kimberly Hightower stated, children emulate their parents' behaviors. If our sons and daughters hear us disrespect each other, then they will think that it's normal behavior. When they become adults, they will think it's okay to speak to others in that manner as well as accept the toxic behavior. And I agree with her. I agree 100% with her that that is definitely something. Your children do. They learn they learn by watching. Learning by watching is definitely so they're learning by the example you're setting. So if they see you in the streets hollering and yelling at other people, especially his own father, you know what I mean? He's thinking that he unconsciously, subconsciously, that boy, if that becomes a norm, he may find a woman. He may be attracted to a woman that talks to him like that, thinking that that's how my dad gets talked to. So that's how or it could be also the reverse. He gets a woman that respects him and he doesn't know how to receive it.
Yeah.
Not saying that necessarily has to happen just because of that. But what I'm stating is that subconsciously it can happen. And then he can find himself lashing out because maybe he doesn't like it. But maybe right now he's at an age where he doesn't feel as if he can speak up, because when we're young, we don't feel like we can speak up and stand up the way that we need to. But as we get older, the courage starts. You know what I mean? Especially as boys, our manhood and our testosterone starts rising, and then we start feeling like, okay, now I can say something. Now I'm big enough. Now I'm old enough. But yeah, you have to be careful on how the language that you're using towards your partner. In front of your children.
And even with that being said, Kat Taylor and Kimberly and Tracy, thank you very much for coming on the Real Men Talk Show. What we're talking about today is how to deal with a bitter baby mama. In regards to the conversation piece, one thing I found that you have to be very cautious of. In this day and age, our generation, we move a little differently. And I say that because I grew up where kids wasn't allowed to be around when grown-ups was talking. You went outside or you went to another room, but you didn't participate in grown-up conversations. Today is completely different. You will hear women talking about this man ain't shit, that man ain't shit, all men are hoes, all men are dogs.
Facts.
So when you have a little girl, a little boy that's constantly hearing this, what you think their outlook is going to be on men as they grow up? They going to grow up with a lot of insecurity because all they've been told from their peers that all men are hoes, all men are dogs. So before you know it, they end up building up all these different thoughts in their head, and now they can't even really get into a healthy relationship because they're going off what they have been taught. Because once again, girls emulate their mothers. Girls emulate their mothers. So if you're hearing this from your mother, you're hearing this from your grandma, you're hearing this from your aunts and all the women in your family, you probably go take it to be somewhat true.
That's 100% true. No, that's
As a boy, if you're hearing this, you're looking at yourself differently and you're not for sure how you even should operate. That's why we have a bunch of confused men. A lot of men are still trying to figure out who they are, what they want to do. And that goes back to a lack of fatherhood, a lack of manhood. And when it comes to women, once again, man, I give much praises. Once again, I said it before the show, women are the life form when it comes to bringing life. And I think a lot of women do an amazing job raising kids. But when it comes to these boys, sometimes I don't think the mothers know when to let go. These boys end up turning into your boyfriends, your side pieces. And now they're confused. Now you're battling his dad and going back forward his dad, and he's unsure how to even operate as a young man or a boy. So to the mothers that's listening, I'm telling you, man, and you can say you don't have to take my advice from me. You can say, he's full of shit. But I'm telling you from experience, you have to know when to let your son go and let his father take control.
No, that's if he's willing to. If he's willing to. Not every father is willing to.
And most women know, they know that. They know that. If he's a good father, if he can raise his son, despite whatever issues you all may have amongst each other. If he got the best interest of his son.
True. I think what you said is perfect though. I think what it is that that in the video, let me say it like this: women in our culture, and not just talking about just Black women, even Hispanic women, and men in general, our community, both communities in general, because they're usually in the same community. Majority of the time, if you look at the demographics and like lower income areas, right? Hispanic and Black people are in the same communities, and they're mingling against each other, right? And they share one common denominator, that they don't know how to talk about their issues in a healthy, positive, intellectual manner. They don't want to talk about their mental health issues. They don't want to talk about their regular issues, and they don't know how to handle it when they have those issues. And with her, it just seemed like in the video that it plays on what you're talking about. You know what I mean? That she needs her son more than probably her son needs her. And it's not even that her son doesn't need her. It's that he also needs his dad. And if we really want to look at a healthy example of, and I always reference this movie, even though it's probably like the most oddest movies to reference. But the reason why I reference it is because you just have to pay attention to what they did in the beginning of that movie. In Boys in the Hood, with Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett's character, right? Mm-hmm. They showed a very healthy way to co-parent and to understand that, hey, hey, listen, like when his son was there, he was like, go play somewhere right now because me and your mom talk. This is an adult's conversation. It's me and her conversation. But he didn't see them arguing. He didn't see him yelling and going after each other. Even though it did happen and arguments happen, right? We're human. We get upset, but at the same time, you just don't have to attack someone's character. So as a man, I don't want to attack the woman's character by saying, oh, you're no good, you're this, you're that, calling her out of her name, calling her by a female dog's name and things of that nature. And then also for the male's perspective, I mean, from the male's perspective, you also don't want to attack his manhood and his character as well. And that's what she was doing in the video. She was attacking his character in front of the son, and he wasn't doing any such thing. He was just like, relax, like it's not even that big of a deal. And the sad, honest, the God truth about it is that we as men are going to be most likely to allow you to see your son more than I feel like a lot of women are, because we know we're not too proud. Like listen, we take them like, because he knows men, we know that boys need that nurturing, caring system. But we also know, and I'm speaking from a perspective of a man who once was a boy that didn't have his father, you know what I mean, at all, like growing up. Like I seen him during the summers, but that was like temporary. It's like, all right, I see you for 30 to maybe 60, 90 days at best, right? But I wish I did have my father around town, even though we moved around a lot. You know what I mean? If he was around more, I would have probably went to my dad more than anybody else. Because I will say one thing. My dad's a little bit like, he's a little bit, what is it? His emotions are a little bit like, he's not very emotional.
Okay, I got you.
But he leads by example by what a man does. You know what I mean? But he's his own man.
Right.
He's not too much of a big talker, but he will talk.
Right.
But at the same time, like my dad has given out great advice where later on I'm like, maybe I didn't like the delivery, but I hate to say it, he put it out there and he says it enough and then it sticks. And then later on, I'm like, oh, he was talking about 10, 15 years in advance. My dad's not talking about right now. He's talking about, hey, when you become a man, because he know that day is coming. And as someone, as I now view it, is that you're only a child for a short amount of time. But you're an adult and you're a man or you're a woman for a longer period of time. And then you're ever developing and growing. So, you know, that's definitely something that, from speaking from experience, you know, if a father wants to be in his son's life, or if a mother wants to be in her daughter's life, and then the father also wants to be in his daughter's life, you have to allow them to do that, because it allows them to have a better balance. And you want to be really conscious about how you're talking. And a lot of people live really heavy in the negative, but and they double down on the negative. They buy into negatives. So if you're able to buy into a negative, why don't you buy it into a positive? And you'll get actually more positive results and returns on your investment when you double down in the positive section. Because if she bigs him up as a man, like, man, you a good father, like, yeah, you're gonna be with your father, like blah blah blah. Her son then has a confidence in his father. He has a high level confidence in his father, because now he's like, you know, mom trusts you, mom love, even though y'all aren't together, mom is talking nothing but good about you. She's hyping you up, and I'm seeing the results, and then he may even want to do more. And then you all can still be friends. Nobody want, like, what it is a lot of times these relationships, especially in our community, it's either you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, you're my wife, or you're my husband, or not at all. And nothing at all. But at the same time, that's because a lot of the relationships didn't start off as friends. So if you start off as friends first and you develop a friendship before you develop an actual relationship, you know, when things do go bad, if they do end for whatever reason, you're not upset, because now you're not just looking at somebody like a life partner. You're looking at them like, oh, you were my friend first. So now we're just going back to being friends. And yeah, we have a kid, but we can live in that space. You can still come to the barbecue, right?
You still can come to the barbecue, and you're right, but you have to. The person have to be in that frame of mind to won't even think what you're talking about. If you have never experienced that, I had an environment that talked about esteeming your significant other or esteeming a baby daddy, and all you seen was baby daddy getting cussed out and talked about, that becomes your norm in your world.
True. True.
Kimberly had asked a question. Let me go back to her question early. If a mother is raising a son with a father that isn't present, nor positive males role models present, what would be your suggestions? I would definitely say look and see if she has an uncle. See if the uncle is worthwhile. If not the uncle, you may have to look and see if you can find some other role models as within an organization. And be honest, that is actually that's a great question, man. That's a great question. What would you say, Dre?
True. My thing is the same thing. Similar, right? Similar is that if he doesn't have any male role models, you always start in the family first on any side. For any men that understands that, and let's be honest, if you're around the family and you're close to your family, they know that the father isn't the best role model. You know what I mean? But I hate to say it, that not just going to outside to find another male to kind of like that void. We as men, and I remember the older generation when I was growing up, men would hold other men accountable. Like you're shamed upon in the community if you don't want to take care of your son. Like, hey man, you need to fix yourself. You got a son now. You can't do that no more. Like, yeah, I know you used to like to run the streets. I know you used to like to sell the narcotics. Smoke the narcotics. You be out drinking and smoking and hollering at this lady but you now have somebody that looks to you as their leader. You are their leader. So, like, if you're not being that, shame on you, because what do you think that person is going to see you think? They're either going to not, even if they don't become like you and they're everything that's not you, guess what? Now you're never going to have a relationship, because they're going to look at you and be like, now I'm what you were supposed to be for me. I had to be for myself, or I had to go find it somewhere else. Now you lost all respect. And that's all we do. So I think that more men, instead of going to find the men, it's that also we need to make sure that the men, along with the women in the village and the tribes that we're part of, the communities, are holding men accountable, but then not just barking at them and saying that, oh, well, you're not doing this and you could be doing better, but also trying to help that person and doing it without making them feel less than a man. Because I hate to say it, I don't care if they're exhibiting boy behavior. That's still a grown man, a growing man. And once you attack that manhood, that's all some people have in their life is manhood. And if you take that away from them, which men, we're too prideful to say that my manhood been attacked so much and devalued so much. Now I'm just gonna do what everybody is thinking I am. I'm gonna continue my boy behavior because you don't even recognize me as a man, even though I am already a grown man. And you got to realize what the root problem is with that man and fix that and find that, and then come together and with love and positivity, keep that person on course. I know a lot of people like, oh, well, that's babysitting, right? Like, oh, so you want us to baby him? Like, but at the same time, ask yourself this: did he come from a respectable, positive male figure? Because if he didn't, how is he ever going to be that? How? Just the same goes for a woman. So sometimes we ourselves have to show a lot of love, and compassion for our own people, and we have to do it more because nobody else is going to do it for us. But then we'll be mad when somebody outside the community does it.
Yeah. I want to reflect back in I want to say back in 1969 when President Nixon put in the family assistance plan. It's a family assistance plan, and 4 years after, that's when Reagan came back with his welfare reform program. And I look back at those men back then, man, I really understand how it was so detrimental to our community. And we don't talk about it, but a lot of the men were forced out of the house. So the wife or the significant other or the girlfriend, whoever, can get assistance.
True.
Now, this is nothing new, but I just want you to pay attention and follow me as far as emotional wise. The men was removed from the house. The women could not have no man in the house as long as they was given government assistance.
Mm.
A lot of these men turned to drugs. A lot of these men turned to alcohol. And when you look at it from their standpoint, a lot of these men didn't want to leave their house. But for their kids and wife to survive, they had to leave the house. I say that, women, because most men, they live for their kids and their family. That's almost like their purpose. If a man don't have his kids and his family, it's almost like he don't have purpose. So all those men that was forced out of their house that end up getting on crack, heroin, whatever, it was more mental. And then it became a drug issue. But the overall core issue was the men just wanted to be in the house with their family. So now we got 2 to 3 generations that pretty much have raised kids on their own. And because that our community is so affected that, once again, many of us don't know what a healthy relationship is. So we're fighting amongst each other. We're fighting within. True. And it all goes back to, once again, a lot of this shit is, a lot of it's systematic, man. But at the same time, we have to take accountability for our own actions. You know what they did to you. You got to take accountability for it. But I just had to bring it up because I was just reflecting on that, how so many of the men got caught up in the system. And it goes back to, once again, they just wanted to be with their family. Oh. You listen to the Leotis Hightower and the Barbecue Talk podcast. And we're talking about how to deal with a bitter baby mama. Stay tuned. We're about to go to a quick commercial. Give us about 2 minutes and we'll be back.
The Bowen Law Firm, PLLC, the best law firm in Houston, Texas. Why? Because they do family law with or without kids. Modifications? Yes, please. Estate planning? I wish I'd thought of that. They also do probate and personal injury. They got everybody covered, especially me. Phone 713-574-7777. They're on the web too, of course. Here we go. BowenLF.com. That's BowenLF.com. Get a modification ASAP. I know I did. Bye.
Many people are tired of typical pharmaceutical drugs that have major side effects and cause addictions. The federal government has legalized CBD in all 50 states. CBD binds to the CB pain receptors in your body. The Houston Health and Wellness Company offers many products that could help you immensely. The consumer favorite gummies are delicious edibles that you can take and attain immediate relief. The tincture is a CBD product in liquid form that you place under your tongue that also comes in a variety of flavors. For those aching joints and muscles, Houston CBD has a full-spectrum salve with various all-natural ingredients that will help provide relief. They even have CBD for dogs. Yes, CBD for dogs. Botana oil from Dr. Sebi's Usha Village. It's an all-natural oil from the Botana plant that has been known to help hair grow at a rapid rate. It can be used as a moisturizer for your skin. Best of all, it's all natural. They also have elderberry syrup for your immune system. Go to www.houstonscbd.com. That's Houston with an S, CBD.com.
Welcome to Houston's Notary, the fastest and most efficient mobile notary service. Houston's Notary prides itself on following up with their customers and making them feel at ease. Houston's Notary has the finest notaries that provides many services, such as loan closings, fingerprints, cash outs, affidavits, wills, trust, power of attorneys, employment verification, documents for immigration, and legal documents. Wow! So many services that all you have to do is call. Toll free 1-844-292-5562 or 713-956-6485 or visit HoustonsNotary.com. Let us be your notary.
Hey, welcome back to the Real Man Talk Show. I'm Coach Hightower here with Brother Dre from the Barbecue Talk Podcast, and we're talking tonight about how to deal with the bitter baby mama. Before the break, we was talking about some of the solutions we're dealing with a bitter baby mama, but I'm gonna go back and let y'all watch the video that we were talking about in regards to why we're on this subject. I thought it was very important that we go live and talk about this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna probably do a 3-part series on this in regards to helping our community to better understand that we have to effectively communicate much better. I don't know if you watched the show last week. Oh my God. If you didn't watch the show last week, go to YouTube and watch the channel. We was talking about child visitation and custody. And once again, to those who possibly can't afford an attorney, the Real Man Talk Show, we are able to get an attorney to come on and give you free consultations. So anyway, last week's show was talking about a guy that here in Texas, he went to go get his son, and his son wasn't there. And it turned into a big commotion that the man of the house ended up going inside of his house to get a weapon and ended up coming out confronting the guy, which was the dad, to leave his house. And make a long story short, he ended up killing the man right there on his porch. And the guy was just going there to get his kid. But when you see the video, go and watch the video. It's two sides to both of the stories. But bottom line is, this is why we're providing this information in regard to the Real Man Talk. We have to avoid things like that because there's a lot of people that's going to jail. A lot of families have been torn apart, and people's lives have been taken, all behind bitterness between parents that can't communicate. So let's go to this video. We're going to show this video one more time, and then Brother Dre and I going to give you a couple points, and we probably go get out of here. I'm going to share the screen. Here we go. Okay.
Because the world needs to know. Get the fuck back. The world needs to know. The world needs to know that you ain't shit. Your daddy, look, little boy. Pay attention because I'm going to request so the whole world can know. And all your TikTok fans, whatever, bullshit, social media you be on. No, look, no, good. I'm going to tell you right now. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You learn how to take learn how to take care of your kids and learn how to. No, with your little broke ass, stinky little ass, you got custody of your damn kids. Don't touch my door, bitch. Yeah, your daddy ain't shit. I'm gonna let the whole TikTok freaking know. Because the world needs to know.
Damn.
You ain't shit. You notice
bitch.
Yeah, right?
I had to say that, you bitch. So disrespectful on so many levels. So that's what we was talking about, ladies and gentlemen, before the break. And now we go talk about some of the solutions. And Brother Dre actually gave some of the solutions as we was going through. First of all, communication, man. If you can't effectively communicate with each other, get a mediator. Get a mediator. Don't try to, first of all, if you know the person's gonna want things done their way, their time, and if you don't meet those stipulations, you ain't seen your kid. No. And don't get a fucking mediator that's probably the goddamn friend that don't even like the dude, but you got her fucking mediating for you. No. Try to make this not about the kid, man. Whatever issues you all have, take care of your issues, but try not to do the shit in front of the kids when it come to that. I mean, that whole thing we just seen, that's straight disrespect. Not only that, man, it could have went so wrong on so many levels. The police could have been called, and the man probably would have got hemmed up, possibly life taken in front of his kid. So many things could have went wrong on that. Brother Dre, what else you got for us, man? I don't want to overtalk. What else you got for us?
No, I like that what you were saying, because that all plays a part of into what you're talking about in the subject matter. They don't want a healthy relationship, says Kat Taylor. So a lot of times people aren't used to seeing healthy relationships, as we stated before. You stated that. And my thing about it is that definitely find a mediator. There's nothing wrong with a mediator. Someone that's going to be neutral, and someone that's going to keep the situation calm, right? And so that you can effectively talk. And one thing that's missing in the community are women of color that want to see another woman be an effective mother, and a lot of men that want to see other men be effective fathers, and men in general. Like me, myself personally, if I was dating somebody that had kids, even though I don't have a kid myself or kids myself, and the father wasn't being present or didn't want to be present because of that issue of that, well, I don't know how your new guy is gonna take with me coming around and this and that. Well, actually, I would rather you come face to face to talk to me. Hey, how you doing? Because I'm in this relationship with a woman that you once were in a relationship with that has kids or a kid. But at the same time, I want you to understand that the door is open for you to see your kids anytime that you want. And I don't mind that at all. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all, because it's especially if it was a person of color, whether it was Hispanic or African American or indigenous. Because the thing about it is that who am I to stop you from being a father? Because I can't be their father. I'm not their father, especially if they're at a certain age where they're like, oh yeah, you're not my father. Cool. I understand that. We understand that. You understand that. But I'm encouraging the father still come around, still be present. When we have birthday parties and things of that nature, it doesn't have to be a thing that they can't have one birthday party and have the mom and the dad and the new guy or your new girlfriend or whatever case may be. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we have to develop that and understand that that's a thing that needs to be done. And the emotions need to be taken out from each other. And it's selfish. It's selfish if you're only being upset because of what you lost, because you're not thinking about, well, what is my son or daughter or sons, daughters, and children are losing or have lost, or what they will lose out on. You know what I mean? Because of your bitterness, because you're bitter because and what is it that it makes you feel like you lack in something because you failed. It makes you feel like you failed. You know what I mean? Like, and there's so many things that a lot of people feel are not going right in their life. And so now they're like, my relationship didn't go right. Now I'm a single mother. Now I'm a single father. Or then now with being a single mother and then now getting custody taken away, now the community looks at that and they want to laugh. They want to joke about that. You know what I mean? I always tell people, don't laugh and joke about stuff like that. Don't make fun of people of their losses or whatever the case may be. If anything, see what you can do to help. Like, see what you can do to help with their internal emotions. Kimberly Hightower says the bitterness can be on the part of the male or female. The narrative must change on both sides, 100%. And we have to go back caring to see people want to be effective mothers and fathers, encourage them to do that. So you stated in a case that someone lost their life because the father came to get his son, and the other dude is, for whatever reason, has a problem with him, and now took the life because they get into an altercation because he's like, no, you're not taking them. You know what I mean? But it's like, why? You need to, first of all, he needs to know his place. A lot of times I know as men, we talk that it's a thing about women knowing their place, but men at times need to know their place. So if you're not the father, even though you're there every day and you may feel like you're a better father than him, but the fact of the matter is that you and that child don't share DNA. So it's really, you really should be ashamed of yourself when you're trying to stop someone who's trying to be a father. Even if they're not doing the best, encourage them and say, hey man, I feel like, you know, maybe you should take them to the park more. Maybe you should like you should get them more, you know what I mean, when you have free time, when you have days off. Maybe, you know, maybe we can work something out. You know what I mean? Like, hey, take some time off and like whatever we can do for you. You know what I mean? But we need to work together more than anything. Nobody should be losing their lives, and nobody should be having altercations over somebody wanting to see their son. And even when someone wins custody of their son, just like this man had done, he won custody, right? He won custody, fair and square. It's not that you, but why did he get custody? And why did you lose custody? It needs to be what needs to be really be talked about. And that's what she's upset with herself, because she felt like as a mother, she failed him, but she didn't. If anything, she's just continuously failing him by not fixing what's wrong with her. And now he's seeing his mom and his dad in this negative exchange. And why is the natural reaction calling her a bitch? Just curious. Okay, I like that, Tracy. We'll get to that in a moment.
In regards to the last conversation you was talking about, I actually lost my train of thought. You had made a very good point with your last thing, but in regards to what Tracy's asking, that's a great question. But and based off the video, she's the one that actually called him a bitch. In the video, I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but in the video, she called him a bitch. He didn't call her a bitch. But in regards to why is that the natural reaction, I really can't answer that, because I try not to use that word towards women. And be honestly, I probably use it more towards men than I do towards the women. And that's gonna be a whole nother show. But yeah, I can't answer that. Hey, Dre, can you take that?
Yeah, no, I don't mind answering that question, Tracy. Why is a natural reaction calling her a bitch? Just curious, right? So because I'm gonna be very honest, as men, we don't have very many tools to work with. Women are very good emotionally, and they're very good with going back and forth with the tongue, right? Like when it comes to language, women like master it. They know how to argue. They have like I don't know what it is, but women naturally have a mastery at being able to argue, and they know how to hit the button. You know what I mean? So a lot of times men, if we get frustrated, like I've gotten frustrated before in my past when I was younger, and I'm like Coach Hightower now. I've taken that out of my vocabulary, and I don't try to use that word at all ever. Like I hate using it, because I know what it means and how it can affect a woman. But you know, when you're pushing a man verbally, a lot of times men get frustrated. They don't know what else to say, and they don't know what to say to get at you. You know what I mean? To really get you. So a lot of times that we know that word. If we want to push a button back as you're pushing a button, boom. It's like a man to go boom. That's like what is it, like that's like a last resort card. You know what I mean?
And I think that's well put. You're right. That's almost like the grenade. We don't got nothing else to say. We know we can definitely use that word, and it would be effective because it would get your goddamn attention. Like I try not to use it, but you're right. That's like the last resort. And we didn't lost everything. That's when we go say it, and it's a done deal. It's like throwing a grenade and walking out the room.
Facts. Like it's like because women, I feel like they master their emotions a little bit better than we do. So they put on a better poker face than we can. A lot of times, I feel like some because they're emotional, but you know they'll look at like when you're not being like, if you're not saying anything too bad, they okay. My mom always told me when I was growing up, women, they don't have to get you back right away. They'll let you. Some women will be real quiet, sip on their tea, on their wine or whatever, and let you. Okay, I got you. And you could be saying nothing wrong at all to their character. You could just be, if anything, trying to better them, hold them accountable or something, or whatever the case may be. And then they go, okay, and then they come back later on, like a week, 2 months down the line. And then they'll hit you with something, and you're like, "What happened?" So in arguments, that's just like our last resort. It's not a good resort. It's not at all. You know what I mean? No. But we all just need to learn positive language.
Thank you for that question, Tracy, as well as Kimberly and who was that other one that was up? Cat Taylor. Cat Taylor. Thank you very much. Also, another tip I'm gonna give y'all. We got about 5 more minutes. We'll get out of here. And Kinzable, thank you very much. Actually, I'm gonna post some of this information you got. Thank you very much. In regards to getting help, I did post in the video in the chat, you all. The video, if you want to go back and watch last week's video in regards to the child custody case, which was actually a good segment with Attorney Bo Bowen, who's doing a lot of good work here. But the other thing, you also sometimes, I know you don't want to hear this, but sometimes you got to get the courts involved. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, man, I get tired of hearing this shit. I don't want to be put on child support. Child support is actually a good goddamn thing. Let me tell you a little story. When I was going through my divorce, I was in Korea at the time, and I had to come back to the States, and I had to go back with a whole nother issue. I had to go back to Colorado. My ex-wife had already left Colorado, went to Texas, but you had to go back to your last state of residency. And I had, I think, residency in Colorado, or one of us had residency. Make a long story short, I had to go there, and I was trying to put myself on child support. They gave me the blues. You would think I was coming there asking for a goddamn loan. They like, why are you putting yourself on child support? I'm like, well, because I do not want to be held up by this state and this government in regards to child support. So let me put myself on child support because my money is going there and I'm keeping documentation, but the courts are always not favorable when it comes to the men. So make a long story short, they wouldn't even let me put myself on child support. Went to another state. They looked at me like I was crazy, but they actually gave me an order. Actually, that's a whole nother conversation because I had to get a lawyer to even get an order. But I say that to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, mainly the men, being on child support, it works out to your benefit. And I say that because the money's not going to her, so she can't say it's a gift. And once again, you want to take care of your kids. Now, whatever she do with the money, you can't control what she do with the money. She's probably going to splurge. It may not splurge, but you don't got no control over that. Just do what you're supposed to do and send the money. The thing about it is, the child support people is nothing but fucking crooks. That's a whole nother racket in itself. A lot of men get caught up in that system and end up messing up your credit. It was a couple of times, man, I overpaid. As I overpaid, they messed up my credit. So many things. It's really a racketeering for men. And it's another way to almost get us caught up in the system. But once again, it works better to your benefit than not being on child support. I mean, not putting yourself on child support. So put yourself on child support. And sometimes, once again, you got to get the courts involved. Definitely if you're trying to get custody. Once again, custody and child support is two different goddamn issues, man. So stop arguing about that. Even on the flip side of the woman, now, I'm not getting child support, so you ain't going to see your son or daughter. That's two different goddamn issues, man. Come on now. Let me go back up to here. If approved for formal paparas, she's speaking that lingo. The legal ads can also be free. There is. It's a whole nother topic we're gonna have on another show, but it's not a lot of resources for men. There's not a lot of resources for men. We discovered, me and my business partner, that a woman can go to prison, get out of prison, you would never know, and she can live a healthy life. A man get out of prison, everybody gonna know that he's been to prison, and he's probably not gonna be to live a normal life. He's gonna be blasted upon, and people is gonna know everything about him. So in regards to this, there are some free legal services when it comes to this. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at the video from last week, Attorney Bo tells y'all some of the free information out there in regards to custody and visitation. Okay. I think we have one more question. Okay. Yeah, if someone referenced a man, mother, bitch, it would be an issue. If you can't be a man or a woman enough to hold an adult conversation, you should have self-reflection. I agree.
I agree as well. We just have to get back to that point in time where it was frowned upon to have a negative language conversation to each other and attacking each other's character in a belittling, devaluing manner or way.
I agree, Dre. Ken Zabel, hey, that's amazing advice, because most time after the relationship ends, both parties will try to go their own ways without putting things like this in place. And months or years down the line, it becomes a major issue because they pretty much avoided it and they've been working amongst each other. Now things is not working, and now it's not a plan in place. Now becoming more issues, and they never to get the courts involved because they waited too late. Now you're going back to the courts and it's becoming a major issue. So that good point. Good point. A father needs to be a father and a mother. What? Man needs to let go of stigma. If I pay child support, I don't have to do anything else. A father needs to be a father and a mother the same. You said a father needs to be a father and a mother needs to be a mother. Is that what I'm reading?
True. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is what I feel like needs to change in the system. I don't know how this would ever change, if it'll ever change, but I think it would be one of the most like revolutionary things that ever happened in America and the world, if it ever started to happen, is that they take away the child support system solely just about money, and in terms make it less about the money and more about the time. Like, no, you have to give a set amount of hours and time. Since you're not together anymore, you couldn't make the relationship work and be in a 2-parent household and things of that nature. Now, if the whoever got custody and whoever doesn't have custody, the one that doesn't have custody, because now you have more time on your hands, because you don't have to deal with the baby, you don't have to deal with the child, and all the things that come with being a parent. You don't have that, so now you have more time. Because you only can work so many hours in a day. Even if you take a 16-hour shift, you have days off. So now, instead of money, how much time can we get from you to be with your child? But I feel as if that would go against what the system put it in place for in the beginning. So I mean, I think that's something that we should start to try to, when we're going into those systems where we're gonna get the court involved, our people need to start, taking that into account. Well, can I lessen up some of that money and give more of my time and put it on a piece of paper and have to sign it that I'll give it these set amount of hours, just like you would if you were on probation?
Man, that's actually I think a good solution. That's a good solution. Yeah.
I see the thing bubble.
Yeah,
I see the light.
My brain is always going 100 miles an hour, man. And yeah, as soon as you was talking, the idea came through. Vanessa said, if you're dealing with a woman that's unreasonable and combative and uncooperative, then take it to court. Unfortunately, to get them involved for your protection, do agree. Just put yourself on child support and document everyone can't co-parent in a mature manner. And that's the nature of the beast. Everybody's not meant to be parents, and some people can't co-parent. And sometimes you do got to get the courts involved. And the best thing, man, it goes back to just communicating with each other. That was running through my mind. Once you get the courts involved, man, the courts is going to drain you for your money. That's a whole nother conversation. It's a racket in itself. With the child support, with the visitation, you're going back and forth to court. You got to get lawyers involved. That becomes a whole nother issue. If you go listen to the show from last week, Attorney Bo Bowen tells you he got a case, I think, that's up to about $700,000. And we just talking about visitation. So after go through all this court system, you're bleeding your pockets. And not only you bleeding your pockets, you're taking away from your family. So we have to be more adult about it and come together, man. And a lot of times, man, you can just go and find out what is the laws for that state. And the issue is usually the parent, they want to pretty much make up their own rules. I don't care what the law say. This is what I'm going to do. And that becomes an issue. And if you go both be that way, it's going to be very hard to resolve anything. But you got to come to some type of solution, man. And just I would say just be fair, man. Some of the things that people ask for is not even reasonable. Just be fair. And then from there, come up with a parenting plan, get it notarized. You got a legal document. If not, you got to go through the court system. And now they go dictate how much time and how much money that each one of y'all go pay.
Sure. I have a question for you, if you don't mind me.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you for that, Vanessa.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Thank you. So my question for you is that, because you've been, if I'm correct, you've been a parent at a young age, but then you also been a parent at an older age, correct?
I don't know how to answer that because I was a parent as early as I want to say 20.
Okay.
2021, and all my kids are out the house.
Okay. Oh, so you were so you all your kids happen at a younger age?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but
you could be thinking about my co-host. My co-host, he has kids, and he now has, I think, a 4 or 5 year old.
Okay.
You could be thinking about my co-host. Yes.
So let me just ask in general though. If you had kids right now, do you feel as if that you would be a more effective parent now as an older adult?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Only because once again, I grew up without a father. So with me growing up without a father, a lot of things I learned on my own. And that's very important. Men and women that's listening. Even when that little girl grows up without a father, man, it plays major issues on her. One of the things is, once again, she don't know how to really be loved or talked to by men. So therefore, she's trying to figure it out. And it may take a couple of years or a couple of knuckleheads. At the same time, usually, and this from my observation, girls that have their fathers in their lives a little bit more structure, and you can't just run game on them. Now you still can run game on them, but it's a little different. You ain't gonna run game like you gonna run game on a person who a girl who may not have a father around because she really don't know. And that becomes a major issue because now you got young girls who becoming women, they still trying to figure it out. So having that father in your life as a girl is very important. On the flip side, having that father as a son is very important. Because now you get to learn those manhood, those fatherhood things that you can't get from a woman. And once again, I think women do a great job, but you can't teach a boy to be a man. It's just certain things you just can't teach. Just like when I was raising my daughters, I was a single parent for about 8 years. I got 2 girls and 1 boy. Altogether, I got 4 kids. But it was certain things I just couldn't teach my daughter. So she had to call her mom and she had to go talk to other ladies, but certain things I just couldn't do. That's why it's so important that we have this balanced household because our households are split. And because our households are split, our kids are pretty much confused and we're confused. They're trying to figure life out and everything is chaos.
Sure.
BK Vaughn stated, but they can have other role models such as uncles and cousins who teach them the game too. You got a point, but it depends on that uncle. If that uncle's anything like that father and that father ain't shit, the uncle probably ain't shit. So it just depends. It really depends.
And it's more about I feel as if that more families now have to actually really understand what being family is, and sometimes you can't control who somebody's with, but as I stated in the beginning, make sure that everybody's holding everybody accountable. So if you have maybe his side of the family is a little shaky, but then on your side of the family, everybody's kind of like more on the up and up, then that side of the family needs to come together and connect more and say, hey, it's for the kid because we want our little niece or nephew or our little baby cousins and to grow up a lot more healthier and better than we did. So hey, let's come together and hold this man accountable and really get on the phone with them instead of like yelling at them, because a lot of times we use a lot of hate speech in our communities. We get on the phone and next thing you know, it's like, man, you ain't no good. You this, you that, man. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, man, you supposed to be a man, man. Like you, instead of just saying, hey, like, what's going on? What's the issue? Like getting to know that person. You know what I mean? Somebody that took a kid. See, people got to stop taking kids in Texas. I don't know what that is.
Hey, like we get abducted 2 or 3 times a day, don't we?
Where my cape at? Where my cape at, man? but no, like that's the last thing I do. I'm like, listen, somebody got like that. That's real. Like you gotta have a whole different type of type of set of skills for that, because I would never take somebody's kid. That's a whole nother responsibility. I'll take somebody's dog before I take somebody's kid. At least the dog, I can give him a couple snacks. The dog go lay down. Those kids is gonna be crazy. But yeah, that is an issue. Accountability. Yeah, no, it's definitely. And then we're not connecting our families anymore. You know what I mean? You get with somebody now, it's like, that's your family. That ain't my family. It's like, nah, we're all family. But then the family don't want to claim this person because they don't like them for whatever reason. And we just have to find, I don't know what happened in the Black Brown community. I always say that we're living in the times where like people were talking about that could happen, and it kind of like came to fruition. Like at one point in time, like everybody was so prideful about their families. No matter how messed up the family must be, we were prideful of that. We wanted to make sure we had the strongest bonds with our families, and we just have to bring that back. Once you're able to bring that back and have an importance on getting with somebody, and we are going to make sure that our families are connected and we're getting together, not just for the holidays. We're talking about even outside of holidays, especially away from the holidays, because then it's that much more special. More family reunions, more family gatherings, more barbecues, definitely more barbecues where you invite the family, like, you don't like, and you're not going to talk bad about somebody because they didn't bring something, and things of that nature, but really just getting people together to be able to connect, and so that everybody understands and sees family. And if a fight breaks out, then we know that who not to bring to the barbecue next time, to the family gathering in general.
Hey, I like that. Hey, Kainsable, thank you so much for displaying your information. I greatly appreciate that for the audience. Also, Miss Vanna, I'm just jumping to the conversation, but let's talk about bitter baby daddy. It's a lot of hey, it is. But on the Real Man Talk, we're talking about men today. We're not, and there's a bunch of bitter baby daddy, but we're not talking about bitter baby daddy. We're talking about the bitter baby mama today. That's what we're talking about. I want to talk in regards to the issues of accountability. I don't think enough of us men are holding people accountable, holding us accountable. And I would say that because in my circle, I don't have nobody in my circle that's not taking care of their kids. And matter of fact, they wouldn't be in my circle if there was that type of person. And I think as men, we need to start holding our friends and men that need to be held accountable. That shit is not cool.
Sure.
Hold them accountable. I don't have one person in my circle that don't take care of their kids. Matter of fact, most of the people in my circle are single male parents. If they're not single male parents, they're with their kids or they're fighting to be a part of their kids' life, or they have already raised their kids. So it's a different atmosphere, man. But definitely accountability, Von. I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. Kainsable, once again, thank you so much for providing that input, because you'll provide a lot of good input in regards to the court system. If you know anyone that would benefit from the show, please share this video to them. Tag them into the video. Let them get this free information. The Real Man Talk, that is what we're doing in 2022. You go see more. Once again, you go see more solutions, because I don't mind talking about problems, but once again, I don't like dwelling on problems. I like coming up with solutions. So here on the Real Man Talk, man, we talk about problems, but we also go talk about solutions. We ain't go just stay on the goddamn problems. We're about to get out of here. If you have any questions, ask your questions. We got about 5 more minutes. Let me take this next thing from Kimberly. I come from a family. You show up to the barbecue, your baby daddy there with this new lady because your family loves him, and Harris's family don't bring him around if you think you may not be. That is true, man. I didn't been to her family gatherings, and there's all type of exes and people there that they pretty much absorb into the family, and
Yeah,
they just part of the family, part of the barbecue.
yeah. Why not? Like, I talked about it before. Caucasians don't have a problem doing it. I've been to Caucasian barbecues, and I done seen where I'm like, isn't that such and such? They're like, yeah, that's my dad. I'm like, with his new, but the new girl is talking to the ex. They're having a good conversation. They're all da-da-da. They're respectful. They're nice. And, that's something that I always took. And I've been to barbecues on the other side when I was young, but it's usually not as, like, depending on where they're from. You know what I mean?
Right.
Depending on where they're from. And I think what it is that we have a less depiction of that. So we need that. We need to make sure that we're depicting more of that. We're showing that. We're actually talking about that. So now with these podcasts that we have, like you, Coach Hightower, like if you're around, like Kimberly Hightower, she's around that to depict that, to show, to throw it to you, and so that you could put it on your Real Men Talk show, to be able to show people that, hey, it's really a thing. It can happen if you want it to happen. If you want it to happen, that's a big thing. The courts have a self-help office to assist with all next steps at every step. Yeah, and then we just have to we have to make it a thing to be okay to have relationships and kids at a later age. It's okay. A lot of times these women and men are being pressured to have kids at a very young age, and only because they love each other right now, and they've been together for a couple years. Like, give them a little bit more time. You know what I mean? I feel like time is always good to allow people to develop and create stability. Don't pressure them too much, because now if you didn't pressure them so much and make it so much of a normal thing, you know what I mean? When the relationship didn't end, they wouldn't have had any kids, right? And now they don't have any kids. Relationship ends. They get to fight. They get to argue. Do all those things. They don't have any kids. And so now that when they meet whoever they meet next, you know, then they may have kids with that person, and it may be a healthier situation. So just we need to shift the culture to be able to tell our melanated younger people that it's okay to take your time. You don't have to have a kid and get married the first person that you say you love to, because a lot of people know they've went through a couple marriages, and it's the third or fourth person they get married to that's the love of their life, that's really the soulmate, not the first two or three. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that, but it just is what it is, I feel.
And I think I agree with you on that statement. I say that because that's one thing I tell my girls and my son all the time. Keep working on yourself, man. They get tired of me saying that, but I tell them the more you work on yourself, the more you go know what you want and when you want it. Right now, you still young, trying to figure things out, and you about to jump into a relationship. And once you jump into a relationship, it is what it is. You got to compromise yourself. And if you're ready for that, you're ready for that. But I don't think most young, I knew I wasn't ready. I never should have got married at goddamn 19 years old. But it was some issues I was dealing with in myself that pushed me to get married at an early age, and I wasn't ready. Now I can say I'm ready now. Because I know myself, I know what I like, I know what I want, and I know what I'm not going to accept.
True.
Y'all have any more questions? We got about 4 more minutes before we get out here. Vaughn, I got you. As Kaiser will say, when the love wears off.
Well, that's the test, right? That's the test. When the love wears off, when the butterflies are gone. Somebody told me that when I was real young. You know, I was just like, okay, I don't know what you mean, until I experienced it myself.
Yeah. Kaiser boy, I need to get you on one of our segments where you can provide some of this information, because you seem to have a lot of information. What state are you residing in? Just curious, because there's different laws in different states. And it seems like your state is very, I'm going to say, male friendly when it comes to some of the services they're providing.
Vision should be all playing if possible.
There you go. I agree with you. I agree.
Healthier at home. Yeah, welcome in. I appreciate you coming through to the Real Man Talk. I love what she said. Somebody told me that, and that was an older couple.
For real.
I talked to, like, my last relationship, and my ex. Why are you always talking to the older people and asking them? They can't tell you. I'm like, they can tell you a lot of things. You got to listen to the old people. I'm like, if you're not listening to the older people and having respect that they have that life experience, then who are you listening to? And I didn't just ask black couples. I was at white couples, Italians, Hispanic, like any from wherever, interracial relationship. It didn't matter. I didn't care. I was asking it. But the common denominator was I found that the older the couple that I was asking, because I was only asking seasoned couples that were married, that seemed to be in a very healthy relationship, they would always say the same thing: take your time. You all need to have time for yourself before you bring another life in. Because once the life is there, all you want to do is do everything for that life. But if you and your person have each other taken care of individually and together in your household together before you bring another life in, then you're going to have an easier time dealing with the unexpected. A lot of people are their whole life is out of order, and then they bring a life in, and then it's even more out of order because that extra life is bringing so much unexpected chaos and confusion.
Yep.
And I'm young still, so like, and I'm still figuring out who I am.
Hey man, and you're doing an amazing job at your age, man. And I want to tell you, just keep seeking and keep it up, man, because there's not a lot of people in your age demographics that's on the path that you're on. So keep doing what you're doing, and man, thank you so much for blessing the Real Man Talk. How can people find you, and how can they follow you, Dre?
Now, I appreciate you having me, man. It's an honor, and again, this is the reason why, like, when I connected with you, I love being able to connect with those. All right, got you. Yeah, don't do that on camera. Don't check out on us on the show that I had.
Oh, man, this ginger beer is bold. That's what it was.
Nah, I got you. I feel you. But no. So yeah, no, it's definitely an honor and a blessing, and I love to have those in my network. As I talked about in my podcast, a while back ago, your network is a reflection of your net worth. So who you have in your network is very important. It's not just how much money you have in the account, but how many good people you have in your network account. So where everybody can find me at is on all major platforms. It's Barbecue Talk Podcast. Also, right now, we're looking to get everything going on the YouTube channel, but we're still catching up on some episodes, so bear with us. You can find us also on all streaming platforms on Apple, Spotify, Google, or at barbecuetalkpodcast.com. And we go live on Instagram Live every night. Well, not every night, 6 days a week, I should say, Monday through Saturday. Monday through Thursday, we go on at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Friday and Saturday, we go on an hour later, so that's 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that's where you can find us on live on Instagram, as well as on the Apple, Spotify, Google. And then soon, we're going to be also going live on other platforms such as Bigo Live, or also YouTube as well. So, yeah. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Thank you. Thank you once again, man. It's a pleasure and honor having you on the Real Man Talk, brother. And I love your platform. And I want us to keep building, man, so we can keep getting this information out and just change the community up, man. So thank you so much, brother Dre.
No, thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay. And to you all, I want to wish y'all a happy holidays, because I know we're going into the holiday season, and I want you all to be blessed. Continue to tune in, but at the same time, I want you to work on yourself, man. As I stated, everyone has greatness in them. It's up to you how you bring that greatness out and what you do with that greatness. If you're conflicted and confused of what you want to do, hit me up, man. Hit me up. I'm known to help so many people, man. And you'd be surprised, man. Some of it's just little things sometimes that people just need help with just to change the trajectory of their life. I got a way of, man, of just finding things out through people in regards to just turning their purpose and their gifts into, whether it's their business model or something they just want to do, as well as helping their relationships. And if you don't have no coach, man, I would love to coach you. If not, man, I would tell people, please seek mental therapy. A lot of people don't have a mental health therapist. And depends on what we talk about. If it's too deep for me, I would tell you I can't help you. But what I can do is help you in regards to just finding that purpose, because everyone has purpose. Everyone has greatness. Let me help you. Let me help you. In my network, I have a vast network, man. I've been blessed. God has blessed me with a gift that I can meet people, talk to people. And a lot of times I don't get a chance to really discuss some of the conversations I end up having with these folks. They help me change my mindset. A lot of deep conversation. My wife and I, we do a lot of traveling and we meet. I got a vast network. So when it comes to helping people and connecting people, I've helped so many people just connecting the dots, man. But most of all, helping them change their life. And that's what gets me going. I love seeing people excel, man, and just move on. Excuse me, and do great things. Put this link down here if you want to reach out. Here we go. Oh, there's one more thing I want to share with y'all before I get out of here from you all. I'm gonna put this in the chat. There we go. There we go. I put that in the chat, and you can always go there. That have all the services of the Real Man Talk. Also, last but not least, I want to share this with you. I think I shared at the beginning of the hour to those who didn't show up. Go and get my book. I finally released my first ebook. My first ebook that talks about how my wife and I started our CBD business and how we end up getting into CBD. If anyone knows me, know I used to be a veteran. I'm still is a veteran, but used to be in the military. Served more than 2 decades. And after coming out, man, I was dealing with some injuries as well as illness. Got on the CBD, and CBD has been really helpful in regards to my health and wellness. Now I'm able to move around more, do more things, get great sleep. A lot of veterans get out and they don't sleep good. I sleep pretty good compared to most veterans. So CBD has done an amazing thing for me. I'm gonna put the link in there for the book to those who may want to purchase the book. The book is more than just CBD. Once you get in this book, you go find out a lot of things about diet, a lot of things that's into the foods that you have no clue about, and how beneficial CBD is. CBD is so beneficial, they don't even really talk about it. You hear all about cannabis, you hear all about the grow houses, you hear about dispensaries, but CBD is not really talked about, but it's a very great herb, great medicine that's good for the body that they don't talk about. Anything that's coming from the government to help you, they're not going to talk about it. And this is one of the things they don't talk about. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Real Man Talk. We will be going live tomorrow. You definitely want to tune in tomorrow because I will be doing an interview with a king. Yes, a king. King Lozano Langley will be on the Real Man Talk tomorrow, talking about how he was able to become king. And the guy's working on a lot of amazing things and doing some amazing things in the world. I just say in the world. Once again, I keep telling you, I got a vast network. So those that want to get with me in regards to coaching or whatever you want to just do with your life. You may just want to talk about whatever's going on in your life. Hit me up, man. Till then, hey, we're about to get out of here. Thank you, Brother Dre from the Barbecue Talk podcast, for coming out and supporting us. Till then, y'all be great. And once again, greatness in you is all about how you bring that greatness out. I'm out.